Have you ever wondered how physicists calculate the electric field around charged objects without performing long and complicated questions? What if I told you there's a particular law that makes these things incredibly simple? Yeah, but I'm thinking I'm wrong. I'm going to blow your mind. In this video, I'm going to teach you the concepts behind Gauss Law and electric force to ensure what you go to the end to get the full gist. Let's get to the video. Okay, this video is divided into two sections. Section 1, we'll talk on the introduction of electric flux and Gauss law, and section 2, we'll solve few examples so you can get the full gist. So that is working example. So ensure what you do to the end so you won't miss out on any of these sections. Let's get started. Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. This is the first time I come across this channel. Here we make mathematics, statistics, and physics easy. So feel free to click on the subscribe button to join the learning community. Imagine you have a horizontal board like this. Imagine a horizontal board here. Just picture the scenario in your head. And rain is falling vertically. This is raindrops, right? So if you hold this flat board horizontally like this and rain is falling vertically, there's tendency for more rain to hit the board as it's horizontal, right? Because it's flat and holding it horizontally, rain is hitting it. But if you incline the board at an angle, something like this, that is inclined at an angle, less rain will touch the board because it's like this. And lastly, if you hold the board vertically, no rain will touch it. This principle works similarly with electric flux. So electric flux is to measure how much electric field passes through a surface. So now, take another scenario. Imagine you have three surfaces. This is surface 1, surface 2, and surface 3. Okay, so now for surface 1, the electric field is acting perpendicular to the surface. So this is our electric field, right? It's acting perpendicular to the surface, and the surface has an area A. For surface 2, the electric field is acting at an angle. Let me say at an angle theta, right? E is the electric field. Surface 1 is acting perpendicular. Surface 2 is acting at an angle theta, and it has an area 2A. And lastly, surface 3, the electric field is acting horizontal, E, and also has a surface A. For your surface 1, to get your electric flux, this is symbol for electric flux. And to get electric flux for surface 1 is what? The product of your electric field and your area. So for surface 1, electric flux is what? E times A. What does this mean? If electric field is acting perpendicular to your surface, electric flux is the electric field times the area of the surface. This for surface 1. For surface 2, if electric field is acting at an angle to the surface, the electric flux is electric field times area cos that angle. In this case is what? Theta. So cos theta, right? And lastly, if electric field is acting horizontal, the electric flux is equals to 0. These three formulas are very, very important for your electric flux. Ensure you master them. For the first one, electric field acting perpendicular, the electric flux is E times A. The second one, electric field acting at an angle, electric flux is E times A cos theta. And lastly, electric field acting horizontally, the electric flux is what? 0. Now, we make this easier in this channel, so let me give you the symbols, or better still, the SI units for these parameters we have here. The SI unit for electric flux is Newton meter square per coulomb. The SI unit for area is meter square, and the SI units for electric field is Newton per coulomb. So these are the SI units for these three parameters right here. Now, from the beginning of the video, I said we'll talk on introduction to Gauss law and electric flux. I'm done with electric flux. Now let's go over to Gauss law. So now, before we talk on Gauss law, I want you guys to know what a Gaussian surface is. So we have Gaussian surface. A Gaussian surface is an imaginary closed surface surrounding an electric charges. It could be a sphere, a cube, a cylinder, etc. These are all Gaussian surfaces. What is the key point? You know that it's imaginary. What does that mean? It's not a real life something. It's all in your head. So a Gaussian surface is an imaginary surface, or better say, it's an imaginary closed surface. So, and what is the major aim of the Gaussian surface? It's just to calculate electric fields. Now, for the main man, Gauss law. Gauss law states that the total electric flux of a closed surface is equal to what? The total enclosed charge divided by the permittivity of free space. Physics is very, very easy. If you watch from this formula here, you can state Gauss law. So state it with me. We have Gauss law states that total electric flux. If you remember, I said this is the same for electric flux, right? So the total electric flux of a closed surface is equal to the total enclosed charge, Q stands for charge, divided by the permittivity of free space. And the permittivity of free space is a constant. In most questions, they'll give it to you, but sometimes they don't give it to you, so it's better you cram it. So permittivity of free space SI net naught equals to 8.85 times 10 raised power minus 12. This is the permittivity of free space, 8.85 times 10 raised power minus 12. Now, let's go back to the last section of this video, which is what? Working examples, so you can understand how to implement Gauss law and the electric flux. Alright guys, welcome to the last section of this video, which is what? Working examples. Now, we have our first problem, which says, what is the electric flux through a sphere of radius 5 meter and 50 coulomb charge at its center? In all my videos, I always say before you solve any problem, outline the parameters first. But I got a video, in that particular video, I showed you guys the best way of solving physics problem in order to get the full marks. So this is the video here. I sure you check the video out when you're done watching this video to show you how to guess your method to the right answer in physics. Now, back to business. So what do we have? We have given. They said, what is the electric flux through a sphere of radius 5 meter? So our arrow is what? 5 meter and 50 coulomb charge. So our charge Q is equals to 50 coulomb. In physics, it's very, very important to master your units because most times they can tell you radius of 5 meter and 50 coulomb. They won't tell you charge. So if you don't know that the unit for charge is coulomb, you might be thinking coulomb, 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 and end up wasting your whole time on one problem. So ensure you learn your units very, very well. So we have our radius 5 meter and our charge 50 coulomb. So you should find what? Our flux, right? This is simple for flux. And from section 1, we derived two formula. We said that flux is equals to electric field times area, and also flux is equals to, according to Gauss law, charge over permittivity of free space. So now, this is where we use our physics senses. No, we have spider senses, we also have physics senses. Let's use it now. So if you watch, from the first formula we have electric field times area, right? And the second one we have charge over permittivity of free space. Note, this is a constant, E naught. I gave you guys earlier, which stands for 8.85 times 10 raised to power minus 12. This is a constant. So from our first formula, do we have E? No. Do we have A? No. So this formula won't work. Second one, do we have Q? Yes. Do we have E naught? Yes. So this is the best formula to use in solving this problem. So now we can say our flux now equals to Q 50 all over E naught 8.85 times 10 raised to power minus 12. If you punch this in your calculator, you get 5.65 times 10 raised to power 12. Is this your answer? No. In physics, unit is our best friend, right? So what is the unit for flux? If you remember, we said is Newton meter square per coulomb. Full mark. Question 1 done. Question 2 or problem 2. What do we have? We said a closed surface encloses a charge of 8 microcoulomb. This sign stands for microcoulomb. Calculate the electric flux through the surface. So given, what do we have? We have that our charge Q equals to 8 microcoulomb. Just that, we find our flux unknown. What a problem. Just one parameter they give us. But we all know that our permittivity of free space is a constant. Right? So our E naught is a constant equals to 8.85 times 10 raised to power minus 12, right? And take note, what is the SI unit for coulomb, for charge? Coulomb, right? Not microcoulomb. So we need to convert this guy to coulomb. And to convert that, you have to multiply by 10 raised to power minus 6. Because, so now our Q now is what? 8 times 10 raised to power minus 6 coulomb. Now, this looks perfect. So, let's substitute our parameters. So we have flux equals to Q all over permittivity of free space, right? Which is equals to our Q is what? 8 times 10 raised to power minus 6. So 8 times 10 raised to power minus 6 all over. Our E naught is what? 8.85 times 10 raised to power minus 12. So we have 8.85 times 10 raised to power minus 12. If you punch your calculator, you get, so if you punch it, you get 903,954.80. This is the final answer. No. The SI unit is what? Newton meter square per coulomb. This is the final answer. And now, question 3. What does question 3 says? It says that an electric field of 300 Newton per coulomb passes normally through a flat surface area. A flat surface of area 0.4 meter square. Find the electric flux. So what's our first step? Given, right? So we have question 3, given. They said electric field of 300 Newton per coulomb. So our electric field E is equals to 300 Newton per coulomb. Passes normally through a flat surface of area. Our area is what? 0.4 meter square. We should find our flux unknown. Yeah, most of you, out of excitement, you've seen E, you've seen A. You rush and do flux equals to E times A, forgetting what we derived first in section 1. From section 1, we said, so from section 1, we brought out 3 surfaces. This is the first surface, second surface, and the third surface. This will be a bit smaller because of the space. And now, we said for surface 1, we assume that the electric field was acting was perpendicular, right? This is the area. And we said the formula is for flux for this particular case is what? E times A. For section 2, we said it was at an angle, right? Theta. This is area. And we said the flux is what? EA cos theta. And for section 3, we said it was acting what? Parallel. Or for case 3. And we said what? The flux is equals to 0. So now they said an electric field passes normally through a flat surface. These are all flat surfaces. So now it's time to use our physics senses again to know the particular formula to use. Let's look for the keyword. They said it passes normally. Normally is another word for perpendicularly in physics. So what does that mean? Say the electric field passes what? Perpendicularly through the surfaces. So case 1 is what this section is what number 3 is talking about. It passes normally and the surface has an area of what? 0.4 meters square. So this is case 1, meaning what formula of flux are we going to use? We're going to use that our flux is equals to E, which stands for electric field, times area. The reason we don't use this one because there was no angle and this one is parallel. This is normally. This is the perfect one to use. Our E is what? 300 times our A is what? 0.4. If you point this, you have 120 Newton meter square per coulomb. So this is how you solve any problem on Gauss law and electric flux. Most cases, they can give you an angle. You will not use case 2. The angle will be given to you. So you do E times A cos, that particular angle will give it to you. And most cases, you have to be very, very smart. Sometimes they can tell you it passes parallel to the surface and they'll give you parameters like this. Most people fall under the prank and get the wrong answer. But once you see that kind of scenario, you say it passes parallel, well, answer should be 0. There's no need of using the parameters given to you. Just know that your flux is equals to 0. That was the initial scenario. Make this easier for students. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to your friends. Thanks for watching this video and see you on my next video. Bye.